Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, across from the Meteor Crater in the studios of 4680Q Internet Radio. Let's put it that way. If you want to listen live, 4680q.com. And I'm here today with
Al McKay, yes.
Al McKay. And we're talking regional budget today. We both watched it yesterday. We know what we're talking about. So if you want to know what's going on with the region, this is the show you want to listen to. And we're not pulling any punches. We're telling it like it is. So get ready for maybe a few fireworks, some good opinion, and we'll tell you what's going on at the region. And why is that important to you? Well, it's important to you because the region's budget makes up our budget, part of our budget. And although if they go up 7 or 10%, it's not all handed down in Niagara Falls. It's shared among the region. We still haven't increased our budget because of it. And they run the biggies: transit, water, wastewater, waste management, and the Niagara Regional Police. So there's a lot of money sitting there. They all want a lot of money to operate, and it's up to us to know exactly what they're doing with our money. That's why we're here today. And Al is excuse me, I'm the wingman here. Al follows it closer than I do. I admit I'm not the most proficient at the regional level, but Al is. And that's why we're going to get him to take it away. I got to get to one of my sponsors first. We'll do another one halfway through the show. And then basically, Al can take it away and get us going here. I first want to talk about my sponsor, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. We're looking at the weather. You know darn well, Murphy's Law says your car's going to break down and the worst day of the year. That's the way it is. It doesn't have to happen to you. All you have to do is be proactive. Take your car in to see Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Get him to check over your car from top to bottom, front to back. Make sure all your systems are go. You have antifreeze, and it's good for minus temperatures. You want to make sure your heaters are working, your frosters are working, your battery's up to snuff. You have your winter tires on. Everything's working good so you don't break down in the winter. How do you do that? Well, you go to wildbillsauto.ca and you check out the services he has. Take your car in. He's going to go through the whole gamut of checks, and you're going to be glad that you took my advice to go to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Full collision service. If you get in a wreck, they're going to send your car back to you in showroom condition after they work on it. wildbillsauto.ca is the website. And while you're there, go to my YouTube page, Paul Lemire 4973, or Your City, Your Voice. Subscribe, leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, get involved. We have an election coming up right out next October 26th.
Right.
Excuse me, it's dry in here. October 26th. So we want to be prepared. We want to be aware. We want to be informed. We want to be knowledgeable so we can get the best city council we can elect, not the best city council money can buy.
It's really important that people get involved. I mean, we need to start taking a look at voting records, both at your city level and at your regional level. And how are these people voting? You know, they're going to tell you one thing during the election campaign. We care about taxpayers. We care about you. We care about this. Yet when they vote a little bit differently. And I'm hoping today we get to talk a little bit about that and basically some of the outcomes we had from last night's meeting.
We're going to go
where
you want to go, Al.
Awesome. Well, let's tell you that right now. Let's talk. You know, they started off the meeting last night by talking about tax incentive grants. And there wasn't, so there was a lot of favorability. A lot of people around the table liked the idea or the concept that, you know, we offer developers an incentive to build. With the hope that one day it's going to derive some type of benefit to the taxpayer, maybe not immediately. And what I found interesting about last night's conversation is that there wasn't a lot of detail regarding what the benefit is to the taxpayer right away, right? And so basically some of these incentives will last 10 years. They'll be excused from paying their property taxes over a 10-year period. Granted, the region is not collecting on, the region's not getting any of this. Well, the region's collecting more in revenue related to property taxes because they're building these buildings. But the taxpayer is not deriving any related benefit, but we're the ones paying for this incentive, as I understand it. So whether you call it a tax incentive grant or whether you call it community improvement planning, or whether or not you're waiving development fees as they did with the winery just up the road,
Three sisters.
The three sisters. And at the end of the day, it's the taxpayers that are going to pay. It may not be right away, but we're going to pay either directly or indirectly for these incentive grants. And I don't want people thinking this guy's not in favor of any type of grants. I think it's a great idea. I think it's awesome, but I think we need to redefine the parameters around when we're going to excuse development charges on a development, right? They had very strict and clear guidelines about who's going to pay development charges and who isn't. And they went outside of that purview to allow Two Sisters Winery to go ahead and not pay $1 million in development charges. So I don't understand what's the rationale regarding that. I don't get it, because at the end of the day, the CIO said it's going to impact on your property taxes.
Yeah, he did. And when that question was asked last night about TIGs, tax increment grants.
Yep. That's
what they are. Because I had to look that up. I didn't, they talk in this jumbo.
New, yeah.
Well, they talk in this lingo.
Yep.
And they like for the average person watching who maybe who doesn't care, they'll just go, yeah, TIG, whatever that is. For you who don't understand, you have to look it up to figure it out. So I did look it up. And there was no definite answer to that question. Right. It was raised by a couple of people.
That's right. Yeah.
They wanted to do investigations on if it does help us or not.
Well, how much? Quantify it.
Yeah.
Tell me how much. Like, if you're receiving this much in revenue before the incentive, how much are we getting after? And they couldn't answer that question. They couldn't come down and definitively say, which they should have, to be honest with you. We're giving away millions and millions of dollars here. I mean, the one in Welland, which the mayor of St. Catharines supported and fought for, was $80 million they were going to give to a developer of luxury condos. And at the end of the day, the rationale to give them this money was, well, it's a brownfield development. We have to clean up that area. But it was going to cost them less than $200,000 to clean up the area. So why are we looking at $80 million in incentives? That makes no sense. So it got defeated, thankfully. But it's more concerning regarding sort of this hypocrisy. And I want to be really cautious when I use this, because, on one hand, we have counselors that are pushing for these incentive grants, which at the end of the day are going to impact on taxpayers. And then on the other breath, they come out and they says, yeah, we're really concerned about taxpayer affordability and our infrastructure crisis. It doesn't make sense. Those are two incompatible statements.
Well, they speak out of both sides of their mouth
That's
a
right.
lot. And that's why I think a lot of people were upset about waiving those charges for that winery in Niagara Lake. Yes, it's underground park. And yes, all the excuses they use in Niagara Falls, they don't even put development charges on underground parking because the land above it can be used.
Right.
But regardless, the region is in debt so bad, probably $500 million, and they got another $500,000. They have to build a new Niagara South water treatment plant. So that $1 million, although it's a nicety to be able to waive it, we want to encourage development. You're encouraging development to a $100 million, $150 million company that has lots of money.
And at the end of the day, right, you're 100%. KPMG's already studied this. And they said when you look at these incentive types of grants, there's little to no benefit to the taxpayer. They didn't see the benefit being drawn out. Yet if you talk to some counselors, they're like, well, my finance people figuratively came up and this is how much it's going to save us. But KPMG did the study, an independent study, and was unable to find any benefit to the taxpayer. Period. End of story right there. And when you talk about an infrastructure crisis, the plan at the region was to put, I think it was 3.5 or 3.7% of our levy was to go into capital projects. And they were going to do that every single year for 10 years. So that would be an increase to your property taxes over the next 10 years of 35 to 37%. Now, I'm not sure about you. I know personally, my paycheck is not going up that much. It's almost driving to rates of unaffordability. Like that's a ridiculous amount of money to be, and I understand there's a need, but we need to figure out a different way to do it. And again, I'll give some credit where credit's due. Mayor Cisco, and it was supported by a number of councillors, acknowledged that, brought that up during the meeting last night, and they said they were going to waive the increase for this year, which brought down the levy from 9.9% increase to 6.81 as a result of that one change alone by taking those out.
Yeah, they were gonna. What are they doing? They were investing $3.5 million for 10 years or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
it. Yeah, 3.5
for 10 years.
For 10 years.
And then they were looking at it, thinking, well, can we spread it over more time, or can we charge less per year.
Right. So they're saying in order for us to identify and fix this infrastructure crisis, we need to do this over the next 10 years just to get caught up. But okay, why not just spread it over 20 years? I mean, I buy a house, it needs work. I'm not going to do all the work all at once. And I understand that's not what they're doing here. But again, that's direct money that's coming. That's direct compounding money that's coming off of your property taxes, because 3.5% this year. Next year it's 3.5, but it's on that 3.5 already, and it's compounded. So it's only getting greater. And that's just not a sustainable number. It's not reasonable. I was happy to see that it was acknowledged and that they decided to move forward with this reduction. But a lot of people were pretty unhappy about a lot of councillors noting that we do have a major infrastructure crisis with our water, wastewater treatment plants.
Yeah, and that's always a big discussion with these TIGs, just simply because anybody who's in favor of them will make the case. We want to encourage development. We want to give them grants so that they do develop in our city. But you got to make sure that giving these grants are going to make you money for the city, because giving money away is never a great idea. It never is good for bottom line revenue in the city. And if there's a lack of revenue to meet expenses, guess who makes it up, Al?
Well, we do, the taxpayer.
Exactly.
I've always been a big believer in, if we're going to have growth, growth should pay for growth. Growth should pay for itself. We shouldn't be coming back to the taxpayer every couple of months saying, hey, we're doing this new stuff. You got to pay for it. And then you'll eventually, at some point, maybe 10 years down the road, derive the benefit from it. Well, people can't afford that. We need to think of it differently. We need to look at governance different. Well, not governance, but we'll talk about that in a minute, because you hit a nail on the head there, right? So one of the things about last night's meeting I was disappointed about was there was a lot of complaining. Hey, we're broke. It's a unique year. And I don't think things are going to get better as we move on. Next year, we're going to have the same conversations, probably even worse, because that infrastructure crisis is going to be that much greater. And so there wasn't a lot of talk about, well, what are we going to do here? No one's talking about running our government differently, right? They still want to run these 12 municipalities. They still want to run an upper tier government, which, by the way, they don't get along. Your upper and lower tiers are constantly pointing fingers at each other. You're to blame. You're to blame. Our homelessness crisis is getting worse. It's a service that's offered by the region. You've got city councillors that are complaining, saying, do your job. I think that was the actual words from the mayor of St. Catharines. Do your job.
I think he did say that.
Yeah, doing it. So they're clearly not getting along, right? And so there's got to be changes. So one of the other features of last night's meeting, I'm not sure if you caught this at the very end, was, again, it was the mayor of St. Catharines, which was well supported by Councillor Badaway and a number of others. But he was pushing for, once this whole budget goes through, is to talk about a core services review. And let's focus on those services. And it wasn't just a core services review, but it was core services and operational review, meaning let's just get back to the basics. And this is what I've been pushing down at the city of St. Catharines, right? What are the basic services we have to offer? And unfortunately, let's get rid of all the ones that we don't have to offer, at least mitigate them or decrease them. Let's make this tax increase as minimal as possible. It should not be above the rate of inflation. It shouldn't.
Well, I think we have a problem on most councils. They forget exactly what their job is.
Yeah.
They forget exactly what their job is. What are they supposed to do as council? Now, I see some of our council members trying to be entertainment directors.
Yeah.
Oh, they want to have all these award ceremonies and they want to photo ops all over the place. We see our mayor making these crazy videos all the time. I mean, what is city council? What are the bases? What are they supposed to be doing? Infrastructure, roads, whatever. I think they need to be sat down and told their mandate as city councilors. It's lost its way. I think it lost its way in the heady days of the 60s, 70s, maybe, where there was lots of money. Everybody had jobs.
Yep.
The baby boomers were growing up.
Yep.
There's lots of money, lots of industry, lots of jobs.
Lots of new buildings being built, lots of ribbon cutting, lots of ceremonies, right?
Yeah, and at that point in time, there was so much money floating around. Yeah. Interest rates were low that they could put in swimming pools and tennis courts. Now we've come to expect them, because the same people who enjoyed them in the 70s, like us, are the guys sitting on city council.
That's right. Yeah.
And we have come to expect these things, but they're amenities that are there when times are good.
That's right.
When times are bad, like right now, city council's got to buckle down to their core jobs.
Basic services, right? I mean,
exactly.
Council's got a fiduciary responsibility to manage our finances in a responsible manner. And I don't know if that's happening right now. And you mentioned about what is the role of a city councilor. City councilors is to make sure that the work that the city staff or the regional staff are doing fall within that mandate. And they're doing it in the most effective manner that they can do it in financially responsible manner. I mean, it's not city councilors' jobs not to go and celebrate a 40-year anniversary of an institution that's been open. Yeah, it's great, but that's not a primary job. You see these councilors hop from here to here to here, doing all these different events and being on videos and, hey, Santa Claus, and going to the Santa Claus parade and doing this. Meanwhile, we've got an infrastructure crisis, people. Like, let's sit down and let's focus on how we're going to fix this. And I honestly believe that one of the things, not just at the regional level, but at the city level, we need a core services review. We need to get back to the basics. We need to stop with all these discretionary spending. And I know at the city, it was quite a bit. I'm trying to remember the number. It might have been 25%. Might have been a little less, 25% of the programs that were offered were discretionary in nature. Well, I would say reduce those so that we do not have to increase taxes. And I know the city will come back and say, well, outside of the first year that this council was in place, where they passed the highest ever property tax increase in the city's history, outside of that, the increases have been minimal. But at the regional level, the same person who's bragging about this, at the regional level, they voted for every massive increase that's been out there. Every massive increase. And let me just go over what those increases were.
Yeah.
Like at the regional level, we have from year one, we have a 7% increase. We have it was 7.58% in 2023. It was 7.02% in 2024, and it was 9.6% in 2025. And they're proposing a 10% tax increase for this year. This same politician that's bragging about, whoa, we're within the rate of inflation, except for the first year. You voted for every one of these increases every year. You supported the budget every year. Yet you'll be the first one to say, yeah, blame the region. It's the region's fault. You're part of the problem.
Exactly. Regardless of what the region does, the city doesn't have to. They can hold the line. They can tighten their belts and give us a break at the municipal level.
Yeah.
While the region's acting up and we want to get rid of them and go to some form of amalgamation or one Niagara, whatever you prefer. There's a lot of different opinions.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is we know that 126 politicians and duplication of every service is what is killing us right now. And the sooner we can move to some kind of amalgamation, whatever it is, it's going to be better for all of us. But we sit here and we put up with 23% increases.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, oh, 7 is 14 and 9 is 23. Yeah. Oh, divide that by 4.
And it makes sense.
And
let's go for it.
Yeah. But you know what? It's not that. It's like 7 plus 7.
That's right.
And then 7% on top of the other 7%, 9% on the other 14%.
It's compounded, right?
So you're looking at 25%, not 20.
And it's another great example of why our governance system here in Niagara doesn't work. And we're not the only 2-tier system of governance across Ontario. There's a few, and I know that Minister Rob Flack is reviewing those now, and we've heard rumors that there might be some changes. In fact, I heard he's here next week for some surprise announcement. Who knows?
Roberta Flack, I call him.
Yeah, Roberta Flack. Okay, there you go. But we may hear who the new regional chair is, right? So that still has to come out. Why he's getting involved in that's beyond me. That should be the citizens of Niagara that vote for who they want there. But let's hope that the person that they bring forward, let's hope there's an announcement regarding governance as well. Hey, we're gonna place this guy here, and we're gonna do a governance review, or we're gonna make these changes, especially moving into the next municipal election. I think the timing is perfect for some type of announcement. But what's going on right now, and you ask a lot of the mayors, you ask a lot of the city and regional councilors, it's not working. It's absolutely not working. How to fix it? I don't know. I mean, I have my own opinions about one Niagara. I have my own opinions about, do we morph into 3 or 4 cities? I just know right now what's happening is not working. 126 politicians all fighting with one another, and the duplicated administration, like 13 CAOs, 13 planning departments, 13 finance departments. It's just too much money. I mean, we're paying hundreds of millions and millions of dollars in salaries to duplicate something that should be done that should be done by one group or maybe four. I don't know. I mean, so I don't have the answers, but stay tuned. I believe we may hear something next week with regards to new chair. So
that would be nice. Is there anybody you think that is a favorite?
I've heard some rumors. I've heard Councillor Gale.
Yeah, Bob Gale for
Bob
sure.
Gale. I've heard that his name bantered about. I heard, I could be wrong, but I heard Mr. Diodati was approached but said no. It'll be interesting to see who they choose, though. It will be interesting. You know, if it is Mr. Gale, he was the one who put the motion forward for a 3.5% increase, and that everyone was to cap.
Yeah, that never worked.
Then he also was the one that pushed for everyone's going back to the office and working full time at the office. And I'm not sure that's going to cost taxpayers some money at the end of the day, because we've set up this sort of infrastructure where people are working from home, and we spent all this money to get them set up at home and working in the office only part-time. If we bring everyone back into the office, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to cost. I know the city of Brantford saved millions and millions and millions of dollars when they adopted a work from home policy, and they stand by that.
Well, the funny part is, the way they hire people.
Yes.
There might not be enough room. They might need a whole new office in Niagara Regional office.
It's funny. There was a study done. I know a number of organizations have pushed this whole return to office, and what some of the private industry is saying is when they move back to bringing people back to the office, there was an attrition rate of about 20%. 20% of the people said, no, I want to work in an environment. This stay-at-home stuff I like. I want to work from home, so I'm going to go work for an organization that's going to allow me to work from home. So across the industries, they've noticed about a 15 to 20% attrition rate of people that have made the decision that I'm just going to leave. Maybe that's what the region needs. Maybe they need that attrition rate so we can get back to reality here.
I was just going to say that might be a blessing.
Could be a blessing.
Could be a blessing. And I'm just going to mention while we're sitting here, I have this little outfit right here. If you want to message Al or me and give us your opinion on anything while we're doing this show, 289-994-7560, or get your comments on, and we'll talk about them. So if you have anything to say about regional council, and somebody might have, here we go. What's up? Right. Awesome. That's
a good start. I always like it when it starts off with awesome.
Yeah, I don't think he was talking about the show. I don't think he was talking about the show, but that's okay. If you do want to talk about the show, 289-994-7560 is the number. You can text, and we'll get whatever your message is. Now, I want to move on to the police budget. Yes, Niagara Regional Police. There's a huge discussion about that last night. And I want to ask your opinion on something that I heard from Councillor Chicho.
Yeah, from Welland.
Yeah, regarding the police budget. Yeah. Councillors wanted to send it back and find $2.7 million worth of savings. Yeah. They have to meet before the ratification meeting on December 18th. That's been changed now because they did send it back, which was good. Yeah. Great conversation. My question to you is, what's your take on all this?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that the police don't need extra money because of the issues that we're dealing with in the community. Let's not forget, it's got to be frustrating for a police officer who's going out there arresting someone who's breaking the law, only to have to rearrest him again hours later, right? So there's an issue, and whether that issue is created from the feds and some of the catch and release policies that they have, or whether it was some provincial changes as the reason they need some more funding. What we should be trying to do and what we should be pushing is we should be going to the federal government and saying, hey, we need more money because your policies are causing us to have to increase staffing, or going to the province saying, hey, your policy change here is creating a situation where we have to hire more people, or we have to put on body cameras, or whatever the case may be. It shouldn't be borne by the local taxpayer. And this budget, like the police budget, is the highest budget of any service that we have across the region.
Yeah, what did they say? It was like 50% or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It's $250 million or something. And we're really close to Hamilton. I did find it quite interesting that some of the councillors actually do their homework. I was really impressed with that. So I think it was Councillor Height, if I'm not mistaken. Good job, Councillor Height. Councillor Height had actually broken down the cost per resident. And it was Councillor Height. He broke it down by resident. And then he compared it to the city of Hamilton, which I love doing when we compare politicians and the number of politicians that we have, or compare what the CAO makes in Hamilton versus what the 13 CAOs make here in Niagara.
Exactly.
I love doing that. And he said the cost was about the same. And he figures, we have less people than the city of Hamilton. So why is our budget almost equal to what they're getting? So very good observation on his part. They did defer the police budget. You're right, the $2.7 million. They're hoping that they're able to reduce their budget by that. I like what some of the councillors said. Just give them the envelope. Here's the envelope of money we're giving you this year, and you work within it. We can't tell you what to do with that money, but you work within it, and you do what you can do with that. I like some of those comments.
Well, it's almost come to that because, just to let you know that this isn't just a regional Niagara problem. This is all over
Absolutely.
Ontario, all over Canada. Police forces cannot keep up with the crime because of open borders for 10 years, letting everybody in, and the weak laws and the weak judicial system.
That's right.
I mean, it's got to be frustrating to be a police officer when you arrest a guy and an hour later he's coming out of the courthouse with his finger like this.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at you, and you got to go arrest him again,
That's
and
right.
again, and again, and again, and again. It never ends.
Yeah. I can appreciate why it might create a bit of apathy on the part of the police, right? And that money that we're asking them to save or look back, change their envelope, like that $2.7 million, it really only represents 0.5% of the entire police budget. 0.5%. It's so minuscule. It's just
why bother?
Why bother? It's almost like why bother, but at the same time, there's a principle here, right? And it's like we asked everyone to come in at 3.5. You came in at 11.
11 and a half or
something.
something.
11. At least give us something here. And I guess they got it down a little bit, but they're going to ask for a little bit more. And I find it interesting, right? When I'm watching this, I'm kind of one of those weird guys. I will watch this stuff with interest, right?
Oh yeah, me too.
So I was watching it, and I find it kind of interesting, the back and forth. And it's almost, there's something to be said with some of the comments that were made last night regarding the strong mayor powers. And I wasn't a huge fan of the strong mayor powers when they came up, but when you go from city to city, it's interesting because the strong mayor powers basically give the mayor the power it's his budget. And then you can argue and you can talk about what he's putting in or leaving out of the budget, and then they'll append it. It's a much more, to me, it seems like it's a much more streamlined approach to budgeting. But at the region, there is none of these powers. So what ends up happening is, okay, here's what we're talking about today. And then someone says, yeah, I have a motion. I'd like to lift this part, and I'd like to append it, and I'd like a motion. Okay, yeah, okay, everyone agree with that? Okay, so now let's talk to the motion. Yeah, I'd like to put an appendage or an appendix to the motion. I'd like to change that motion. So it's a motion on the motion on the motion. It just gets confusing to follow. And, you have 30 of them, 30 regional councillors sitting around a table. You're not going to get 100% agreement all the time. Rarely will you get that. And so you have these long, drawn-out conversations that last, the whole meeting lasted 3 hours. I thought that was actually efficient because a lot of times with this budget, it goes a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was looking, and there was a couple of good points made. I can't remember. One of the councillors said that the citizens are crying for us to stop the crime rates from going up. It's ridiculous in the region. But at the same time, they don't want to give the police more money to deal with the problem, right. Which was a great point because all of us, we say that, the crime rate's going crazy here. It's escalating. It's epidemic. They use every kind of adjective you can figure out to talk about it. But then when they say we have to raise your taxes 2.7 million, or not your taxes, but the amount they need by 2.7 million or something. And then they we got to save 2.7 million.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. It's just
and you can't have it both ways. If you want the crime to stop, then you've got to have more police. That's all there is to it. And now it's a way to fund it. And I agree with you 100%. The feds caused the problem, and the province is another one with their weak judicial systems and laws
and mandated programs, right? Mandated services, mandated programs, and now it's costing local taxpayers. Like, this is one of these downloading items, so we should be more forthright. And maybe they're doing it and they're just not telling us or being very vocal about it. But maybe they are going to the federal government saying, "Hey, you guys, come on, this is weak. We should be talking to Mr. Biddle or your MP here in Niagara Falls."
Oh, the Cheeto Bandito.
Cheeto Bandito. There you go.
Bandito.
Yeah. Who was that?
That's Wayne Gates.
Yeah, let's talk to Mr. Gates.
Well, he's orange.
Yeah,
that's Cheeto.
There you
and
go.
He looks like the Bandito.
That's fantastic.
You love my names.
I do. I like the Penguin, and I like them all. I
got names for everybody, but we call them that lovingly. Lovingly,
yeah.
Right?
But you bring up a good point, right? And I mean, it's not. I'm not sitting here saying that the police don't need that budget or it's not warranted. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that the overall budget is unaffordable. It's not sustainable. 35 to 37% increase over the next 10 years is what the city staff or regional staff are saying we need in order to address our infrastructure problem. I'm not saying that's not what's needed. I'm saying that whole pool of money that we almost, what is it, $2 billion? What is the regional budget? Oh, no. It's
$1.5 billion or something?
Yeah, something like that. Well, 1.109 in gross expenditures, that was as of 2022. So yeah, we're probably up close to 1.5 billion.
Close to $1.5 billion.
What I'm saying is there's got to be a better way that we can use that money. And in my opinion, it's the administration. It's the way we administer our government services. That's an easy win. It's low-hanging fruit. I mean, it's going to be a big lift if they come in and say, yeah, we're making these changes. And some people have done the analysis already. And these numbers are only going to get larger. But just the reduction in management payroll alone, they've estimated it to be between $33 and $35 million a year. Increase in procurement and innovation. They feel that there's another $7 million to be saved. Reducing external contracts like legal, headhunting, consulting. We spend millions of dollars on all that. They feel they can save about $5 million as a result of an amalgamated Niagara. And then there's going to be some costs associated with any type of amalgamation, right? Because you're going to have a collective agreement here in Niagara Falls. You're going to have a collective agreement, so you're going to have to equalize those. So it'll be a cost, but that cost has been estimated to be about $20 million. So when it all factors out, they're looking at an annual savings of about $25 million a year. But that savings is only increasing every year as we see these budgets rocket and go way up, and everyone's getting raises. So at some point, someone's got to put their foot down and say, this is not sustainable and we need to do something about it. And we'll see what happens with Mr. Flack next week.
Now, so what happened, just to go through it, is they voted to send it back to the police board and basically look for $2.7 million of savings. Yep. Now, that's probably not going to happen by December 18th when they were planning to ratify the whole budget. So what it means is that they're going to probably ratify the budget into January to give the police board a chance to look at it and come back with something. And it also affects the operations budget, because part of the operations budget is the police budget.
That's right, exactly.
So the whole thing is going to be shifted probably into January, unless the police board comes back by next week when they were going to plan a meeting, or comes back maybe between Christmas and New Year's with some numbers, and they have an emergency meeting to deal with it. But it'll probably be pushed to the new year now. From what? Now I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And it's about something Councillor Foster said.
Okay. Yeah. Ron Foster. Yeah.
But I'm going to go to my second sponsor before we get into that. So stick around for this. This is a good one. I'd love to hear what Al thinks about this. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue. If I want a good pizza, I go to Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Why? Because they're consistent. They use the Mancini family recipe. They use the Mancini family recipe for crust. They put it all together in a nice pizza. They blend that cheese and sauce just right so you get that full flavor. Then they cook it to perfection with fresh toppings. Hey, you cannot go wrong with a pizza from Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And I'm going to tell you what a bunch of good guys they are. They opened another location in the northwest part of Niagara Falls so that you can enjoy good pizza in that end of the falls. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue. What more can I say? You know you want a pizza. Friday night is the perfect night to have a pizza and sit back and watch whatever you watch on TV. I don't know what you watch, but pizza goes with it. I'll tell you that. Dial 905-374-2222 for your pizza. And don't forget, they have great wings, panzerotti, poutine, steak and cheese poutine, steak sandwiches, chicken parm sandwiches. They run the gamut of good food. You're not going to be disappointed. Give them a call today. and go to their website, petespizzavictoria.ca, for their full menu and to order. They use Dime, they use Skip, they use everything.
Awesome.
No reason for you not to get a fresh hot pizza tonight. Support our sponsors. They support the show. We always support small business. You should too. Keep them going. I mean, they're great corporate citizens. Okay. Councillor Foster.
Yes.
I'm not sure where he's from, this guy.
I think he's West Lincoln area.
He's West Lincoln?
West Lincoln area.
He suggested that actually they should make the police budget, Niagara Regional Police budget, a separate budget outside of the regional budget, much like the water, wastewater budget. What do you think of that, Al?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, they do it right now with Niagara Regional Transit. They do it with, what's the other ones that they do it with?
Water, wastewater.
Wastewater is another management. One. Yeah. They kind of already, throughout the presentation, they kind of already break it down into those areas. You got your agency boards and commissions, your ABCs, which would include Niagara Regional Transit, and then you have your water, wastewater, which is already kind of separated out. So when they roll it all together, you're able to actually see, well, this is going to cost us 2%, 3%. And they actually were really kind of patting themselves on the back regarding operations themselves, like public health and everyone else. Yeah, they're only going up such a minuscule little amount. I like the idea of separating it out. I think it makes it easier for the taxpayer to realize, like, where's my money going? Where's it being spent? And it would take it away from, because it is a separate thing. Like, if the police don't agree with it, they can just appeal and take it to arbitration, right? And then there's a separate board that'll listen to it and say, no, give them the money.
Yeah, the adjudicator.
The adjudicator, that's correct. But interesting enough about Mr. Foster. So I'm not sure if many of you have seen, but leading into this budget meeting today, I penned a letter to all the regional councillors asking them to deny or to say no to the current budget in its current format. And I gave a bunch of reasons. I gave an explanation of what the Property Taxpayers Alliance did, who I represented, and why they should say no to this budget. Councillor Foster was the only one to email me back.
There you go.
He emailed me back, and he had mentioned, he noted that he sees lots of my write-ups, and but he did note he has a bit of a different perspective when it comes to regional politics, that he's both been in lower tier municipal councillor and an upper tier municipal councillor. And so he says there's a lot of good that happens. That was pretty much it. That's pretty much all he said. So I'm not sure if he's in favor of any type of changes, but what's happening right now is just not sustainable. Like this, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I got the feeling when he was saying that, though, it's because of this tough choice that when you separate it out of the regional budget, then it's like, here is what we're dealing with. It has nothing to do with the region other than we have to go by whatever their numbers are. But believe us, it's not us that are doing this. Like, there's a board, they're separate. That's what's going to happen. And if they do send this back for the $2.7 million, and the Niagara Regional Police say, no, we're not cutting anymore. We can't cut anymore. We're not going to go by that. We can't cut anymore. Then it goes to an adjudicator.
That's right. Yeah, it goes to an adjudicator. There are some municipalities that don't have a regional police force, right? And they just contract with the OPP.
Well, you know what? How many times I've said that? Yeah. I think we should just gas them all and just bring the OPP in. They're experts at this.
There's a business case to be had, right? Like, we have to develop the business case. And so, okay, this is going to cost us $257 million or whatever the region is going to cost. Can we offer the same level of service by another service provider? It's what you would do if you were in a business and you had to go out for tender. To go out, who's going to give me the best price on my widgets? Oh, those widgets are costing me less. I'm going to go with them. So at some point, I don't know if that's a conversation that needs to take place. Needs to take place at the region. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do that in front of everyone. It'd probably be in camera. So,
oh yeah, there's a bunch of legal crap going to go on if that ever happens.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't change the bottom line, right? Taking it out, putting it in a separate line item might make it easier for you and I to read it and see it, but it doesn't change the reality of the fact that it's still there.
I think it would take some of the pressure off the councillors. That's what they're thinking of, because all of a sudden you can, it's not like part of the regional budget and they're trying to make the case for it. Now it's right there.
It's right there, sticking you in the face, right? It's
exactly.
Right there.
And I was impressed by a couple of them who said they went through it line item to see where they could save. And there was a couple of guys who said that there.
Same with water, wastewater, right? Water, wastewater was looking, I don't know how that ended up, but they were looking for an additional 7 staff. Not this week, not last night, but the previous Thursday, they had a long conversation about what those staff were needed. And I was actually kind of shocked that it got to a point where we're at a budget meeting and they're getting into that much detail during this budget meeting when this probably should have been vetted prior to this, so we know exactly what's going on. Because one of the other complaints throughout this whole budget process was how quickly everything was happening. Like, we're making changes on the run and we really don't know what the impact of these changes are when we make amendments to these motions. We really don't know what the impact is. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. And so hopefully they can take what's happening this year and look at what's happened in the past and maybe refine the process so people aren't feeling that way at regional council.
Yeah, I was, to be honest with you, I don't watch a lot of regional council.
Yep.
And overall, I was pretty impressed. Well, I'll end the show with that, what I thought about this meeting. Yep. I don't watch a lot of them. You do, so you know more than I do. And I'm just looking at a snapshot of the overall
budget review,
the budget review I watched, and I watched the full meeting like later on, right?
Yep.
And I'll give you my comments on that after watching that and comparing it to Niagara Falls, the municipality of Niagara Falls. We have our city council meetings. I'll give you my
Where's
opinion.
Niagara Falls ending up? Like, where's their budget at right now? Has that been approved, or?
Well, we do it like we don't do it. We don't do a consolidated budget.
Right.
We do a capital budget the end of November. That was okayed Tuesday.
Okay.
And then we go into our operations budget in January.
Okay.
So it'll come to council, I think, January 21st. Yep. Then they'll approve it, and then it'll come up with one big number. The number they were looking at preliminary when they first came out was around 6% increase. And you know, I comment on this all the time. There was a $78 million capital budget we went through, and not anybody didn't find. They found $25,000 of savings.
That's nothing.
So why bother?
Yeah, what's the point?
Why bother?
Yeah.
And you know, like there was, I think, I don't know, I can't remember how many pages, 320 pages maybe. And something like that, I think it was. I can't remember. Right. I went through every one of them, though. I know that. It took me hours and hours. And I found like $5.5 million, $6 million worth of possible efficiencies.
Right.
They came up with 25,000. You know, it just boggles the mind. Yeah. And it just tells me either they're too dumb to figure it out, or they just don't care.
They don't care, yeah. It's one or the other.
Staff came up with it, and
we're just going to trust them.
Yeah, and for anybody to send stuff back to staff, well, my thing is forget about it, because they made it.
Yeah.
They're telling you what they want.
Yeah. It's like a Christmas list.
Yeah. And if you're going to just go like this, then you know that's what we get. So
I don't know if you noticed last night during the meeting, there were several councillors, one or two in particular. I won't mention any names, but I'm not even sure they're listening half the time, because the question that they would ask had just been answered like 2 minutes prior. Like I started laughing. I'm going, "Are you listening? I heard." I can answer that question. I just heard it 2 minutes ago. And I wonder how much is going on. How much of these questions is just getting myself on camera and grandstanding a little bit, right? I just want to make everybody know that I'm kind of listening, kind of not. I'm on camera.
Well, see, what I don't get about any of these meetings is you have access to Ron Tripp.
Yep.
You have access to every department head as a counselor. You have access to everything. So if you really go through this budget, you write down your questions, and then you pick up the phone
prior to the meeting. That's right.
And you call these guys up and say, "I'm not understanding this. Can you explain it to me?"
And Councillor Foster did exactly that. He went out to the water wastewater, right? He was the one who explained. He had some great analogies. Same with Mr. Rigby, or Councillor Rigby, who's been around for ages.
Oh, yeah,
what a great councillor. And he did his research, and if he had questions, he's asking them prior to the meeting. And that's what should happen.
Yeah, so he doesn't ask questions that aren't pertinent.
That's right.
And overall, when I give my synopsis of this, you'll see what I say, my impressions of it, right? I was surprised that Tim Rigby was
still there
as an older man. No, I always thought Tim Rigby sounds like a young guy. I thought he was like maybe 45 or 50. I know he's been around a while.
Yeah, I remember him as mayor of St. Catharines.
When I saw him, I go, "Well, that's not that guy doesn't sound like what I had in my mind."
And he's got a great sense of humor. He had a couple of laughers last week and this week. So he's a genuine guy. He cares about his community. You can tell. It's not an easy gig to be doing. He big into the rowing and Henley Island and supporting our local rowing athletes.
So the capital budget looks like it was approved.
Yes. Well, it was. It'll. I don't know. I didn't finish to the very end, but did they pass a bylaw regarding it? Did they do the bylaw, or are they going to wait till next week?
I think they passed it.
Okay, so that means that everything but police then has gone through. Water, wastewater went through.
Yeah, and most of the operations budget went through.
That was very small, though.
Yeah, as well, exclusive of the decisions
police.
On the police.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, it looks like transit was 6.76%, and you can correct me on some of these numbers.
You're pretty much bang on, and I'm a little bit concerned about transit. So we amalgamated transit 3 years ago. The first year they came in, I understand it was a big budget increase. I forget the number; it might have been 6% or 7%. I forget what the number was, but it was big. And everyone's like, "Well, we amalgamate; it costs money." But I get that for the first year, right? Whether you're reconciling contracts or what you're doing. And then the second year they came in with another big budget ask. And a third year they came in with another big budget ask. This year they're coming in with yet another 6.7 or whatever the case may be. I know it's up there. And they're saying it's so we can enhance service. Do you think this is the time of year we should be enhancing services for transit? They want weekend and Sunday service, better enhanced service those weekends. I'm like, we can't afford, we have people losing their homes.
This is what I don't get, because they seem oblivious to this fact that people are struggling right now.
Right.
Either we always come back to it.
It's not just taxes, right? It's everything.
But it always comes back to it. Either they're too dumb to understand or they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost put those words on anything, because if you understood the way people are hurting right now, you would really try to keep your numbers as close to zero as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, but it doesn't matter. And when I look at transit for Niagara Falls, when we had it and we ran it, it was $7.5 million a year in the budget.
Yep.
We gave it over with all our equipment and everything else to the region, and it automatically doubled to $15.6 million. And now it's probably in excess of $20 million.
You made a great point earlier, right? When we talked about during the good old days, when things were good, and we would have the swimming pools and we could have all the extras. And this is not the time to be putting in enhancements, even more enhancements, and making. It's like me going home today and saying, you know what, I don't like riding my car anymore. You know, it'd be really nice if I had a Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, I want a Rolls Royce.
I can't afford it.
I want a Rolls Royce.
You want a Rolls Royce? Okay.
You're going low end.
I'm going low end. Okay.
At least say Maybach.
Yeah. So I'm not going home because I can't afford it. Well, that's like this. Right. That's here. We can't afford it. So let's hold off until we're in a better time, and then we'll do the service enhancements. I talked to one counselor, and I'd mentioned that I don't think that transit, and obviously I was too late because they'd already passed the budget, but I don't think transit should have had those enhancements. And the response I got from this counselor was, well, if you're going to have counselors that are going to go ahead and waive $1 million in development charges for a luxury hotel provider, then I'm going to go ahead and support the fact that a single mom and her kids can ride the bus on a Sunday.
And how do you argue that point?
You can't argue it, right? in that way, but the only way you could argue it is to say that we can't afford it. We can't afford it.
We can't afford either.
We can't afford either. That's correct. Yeah. So.
And like I say, and I keep saying this, is that a lot of this stuff, you don't have a right to have it. There's no guarantees on it. When it's affordable, we have it. And then when it's not, we don't. Now, they should try to make the transit system, the existing one right now, without any kind of expansions or anything, they should try to make it so it works now.
Seamlessly, I agree. Absolutely.
Before they start looking for
enhancements beyond. That's right. Correct.
And that would only make sense. I mean, but I don't know why they don't treat this like their house. I mean, if you can't afford something,
you don't get it.
You don't get it. I'd love to have a new car. I can't afford it. So I run my 12-year-old car.
So it's exactly what I do, right? I mean, just because it's a government agency doesn't mean it shouldn't be run responsibly.
Exactly.
And if the taxpayers can't afford this, which they're clearly demonstrating, because we've seen huge arrears, huge increases in the number of people not paying their taxes with this last term of council. Niagara Falls, it's over 40%. I think it was 42%, 43%.
$34 million.
Yeah, $34 million. And that's increased.
4,000 households or something crazy.
And in St. Catharines, it was like 36%. And then when I bring that up to people, the rationale I get is, well, everything's expensive nowadays. And you know what? Regional taxes, municipal taxes only account for 9% of all the taxes you pay with all the taxes. but it still doesn't give you the excuse to not spend it responsibly. I mean, you have an opportunity, you have control over this. You need to spend it with some type of responsibility.
And if we don't have responsibility at the regional level, then we certainly need more responsibility at the municipal level.
That's right, exactly.
Because they say, well, we can't help it. Well, you know what? If they raise our taxes at the regional level by 7%, then it should be less for us at a municipal level. They should even be more aware of how important it is, because we have no choice with the region. They set it, and we have to pay it.
That's right.
They send it down to us. Water, wastewater, and don't make any mistake. That's another tax. They just separate it out.
That's right, based on usage. But I mean, I watched an old video of the town of Thorold, and they had people in there when they brought out the wastewater. And then one gentleman's up there and he's arguing. He says, "I have no problem paying the water, but I use my wastewater. I water my garden. You guys are charging me for this? Are you charging? Because I'm not even using the wastewater." Like but that's when it first came out. They were amalgamating the bill, but it lends itself to, we've got councillors here in the region. We've got councillors at the regional level that represent Niagara Falls, represent all over, and it's important that people know how these people are voting, especially come October. You need to be educated. You need to care. I mean, voter apathy was really, really bad during the last election.
There was 27% turnout here.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you're allowing that 27% of the people to, as you put it, to basically run the city.
Yeah.
It's not right. People need to care.
So what I've got here is a total tax rate increase of 6.81%.
Yeah.
The police wanted 11.51%, I believe.
Yeah.
And now with 0.5%, they're going to the 2.7 million be 11% increase.
Yes.
I got water at 7.5%.
Yeah. Now, obviously, if it went through last night, they got their staff. Their staff must have went through. Yeah. So there was some talk about not allowing the 7 FTEs, but I guess that went through.
And waste management at 1.15%.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? It
sounds
low.
Yeah, it does sound low. But it does.
Not used to those.
Yeah, I think you have it. Yeah, I didn't get those. I didn't get those numbers.
Those numbers, when they're that low, I always think I made a mistake.
Yeah, I know.
Like maybe I dropped a 7 for a 1 or something. Because
it very well could be. I mean, I know they were asking for more staff in order to help run projects. Because I guess the region, they don't have staff that actually go in and fix stuff. They contract it all out, so they need people to manage those projects.
And perhaps the mandate handed down from the province. That there's certain people who they're not going to pick up recyclables for them anymore. The businesses and homes and everything else. Maybe they figure they're saving money on that.
I don't know, but I mean that's a great example. The region is responsible for waste and picking up our waste. Right, we contract it out to a vendor who goes around and picks up our waste. And now for private businesses, they're not going to go around and pick up recyclables. So the recyclables aren't going to be picked up for businesses. And I'm like, wow, there's just another disintegration of services. My taxes continue to go up, but they're not coming to pick up my recyclables in the new year. I don't know when that starts. Do you know?
I think January 1.
Okay, yeah.
I think January 1 for businesses, churches, organizations, whatever.
It's sad. It's too bad.
I think what Grimsby did is they actually are going to pick up the tab. It's going to be like 46,000 or 44,000. To give these businesses a year to figure out another way to deal with it. So that was pretty cool they come. Good.
Yeah.
They gave them that chance, because if the businesses want it all picked up and the city says, okay, they can pick up the tab for it. I mean, they don't have to be without service. We can get it. We just have to pay
for it.
And if we don't, then the businesses will have to find their own cartage company to come and get recyclables and take them away, I would, if I had a small business, I would just take them home and put them in front of my house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's what I would do. Yeah. It just means more curbside pickup when the garbage truck comes down the residential street.
And I'm sure you're going to see a lot of that.
Right? Oh, that's what I would do without a doubt. Yeah.
Now you wonder how long before they start deciding we're not going to pick up recyclables for everybody.
Well, I think when they see volumes going up all of a sudden, because there's a lot of people who have businesses,
small businesses,
small businesses, and they'll see it going up on the curbside. front of houses.
Or getting dropped off in a
Jeez.
field somewhere.
The guy's got a half a mile of garbage out here from his house.
Starting January 1st.
Yeah, gee, I wonder where they're getting it
I don't
from.
get this. Got to figure this one out.
If somebody was smart, they'd probably start a business going around and saying, listen, give me your garbage once a week and I'll put it out in front of my house. Give me $25.
What a great idea. What a great idea, right? I mean, maybe that's the direction they end up going. You get this small business coming up.
If anybody starts that, remember the royalties come to me and Al here. Yeah.
Yes.
We're in for a percentage. Don't steal my idea. But I mean, that'd be a nice little business for somebody. Just going around saying, I'll pick up your stuff.
Why not?
To these businesses.
Yep.
Get a big truck with a dump on it. You go pick it up and either take it
over to
or put it in front of your house.
It would be perfect. I don't think you have to pay for recyclables if you're dropping them off on your own.
No, you don't. Be a nice little business for somebody. So there you go. Anybody with the truck that can dump, just go pick up the scrap, have a piece of cardboard down the middle to separate it. You got yourself a little business. You're welcome.
You have truck, will haul.
Truck, you can thank me later. So that's what the numbers look like to me.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens when it's finally done, when the police budget comes in. But always remember, whatever the number is, 6.81% right now.
Yeah.
That's spread amongst all the municipalities of the region. So don't think your taxes are going to go up 6.81% because the region dropped that down. No, it's going to be split up. They might go up 0.5%, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so what it works out to is usually it's, I've always gone on the notion that it was around 50% of your tax increase is from the region.
Okay.
45 or something like that's the city, and then another 5 for education. Something like that. There's some formula. Okay. So really what you're going to do is, if that's the case, you're going to take the 6.81%, you're going to multiply by 50%. That's going to be your increase. And then you're going to take the other part, your city increase, multiply it by 45 or whatever the number is, and add those two up, plus your education, and that's what your property tax
is. That's what your property tax
your increase.
So it looks like it was a good meeting. Now, my comments on the meeting, just from watching it, I don't know if you find these interesting. And you probably have a different opinion because you watch it all the time. Me, I don't watch it that much. This was just from this meeting I saw.
Yeah, I'm curious,
And I thought it was well run. Structured business meeting. There wasn't a lot of grandstanding and no appearance of animosity about anything on the subject. It looked like everybody got along. I mean, they all had their opinions. Nobody was really on anybody. And we do have some counselors who are kind of cuckoo.
Yeah.
And we know who they are. Yep, and Bateman. I'll tell you who they are. I always thought they were kooks, but I thought they were fine in the meeting. I mean, Helly Bateman, everybody calls her a kook and everything. Even I do. But at that meeting, she made her points, and she was fine.
She asked some great questions. She had some
she
really
did.
Good,
I was
thoughtful
to be honest, I was impressed. I never watched her in action. I just saw her do crazy things and hear about her. But she seemed pretty balanced in there and had some great questions.
And well-informed, right? Yeah.
All items were discussed, all sides of the story considered, and then an electronic vote to decide matters, so you can see who voted.
That's right. Yeah.
I like that feature. And when they wanted it recorded, they asked for a recorded vote, which was pretty neat. We do that as City Council. And I think this is the way that all of our City Council meetings should be run by the mayor and worked by council. All comments were relevant to the topic being discussed. They didn't go off on a lot of tangents.
And if they were, the chair would pull them back.
Yeah.
In previous meetings, And
that's so important.
Yeah.
All questions were well considered. There didn't appear to be any that were off the top of their heads.
Yep.
They seemed like most people seemed prepared.
Yeah.
And if they were off the top of their head, you wouldn't know it because they're well versed in what they do. That's just my thing. When someone didn't understand the motion or wanted it clarified, the acting chair handled that and made the point clear, which was very, very good. And you had, in the budget meeting, you had Redicop chairing that. And then you had, I got to remember his name, chairing the actual regular meeting. Later on. It was later on.
Oh, I didn't see the later on.
Yeah, so I can't remember his name, but he was very good. You had the staff who was very good. They're excellent. Ron Tripp, a couple of the other ones, I can't remember all their names.
You had Sue Brenz. Brenz, last name was Brenz.
Yeah, Brenz. She was the deputy
finance person.
Yeah, finance. That's right.
Yeah.
And then
she did a very good job. It was very well done.
There was a deputy, Ron Tripp, too.
Yeah,
there's another person with him that was was, I think, maybe his understudy or whatever.
Even the staff that was sitting in the back when they brought up the gentleman from HR.
Yes.
Franco. I used to work with Franco, great guy, and even from EMS, right? You had Karen from EMS, and answering those questions and just off the top, right? Just be able to answer the questions and provide the information that the counselors needed, so they were well-informed decisions.
So I got to give kudos to the regional counselors. I really thought it was great.
Yeah.
Our council should really view that budget meeting and learn how to conduct themselves in business meetings. And that includes Mayor Jim Diodati, too.
Mm-hmm.
He was there getting his back up a little bit. When Haley Bateman was talking about her, it was a code of conduct thing or something, and had to do with the Niagara Falls, her going to that meeting with Women of Ontario saying no.
Signs. Yeah.
And he got his back up. I don't understand. He was a little bit like, because he sat there and he violated her freedom of speech. And I keep saying that.
By shutting her down.
Yeah, by shutting her down, because they weren't causing trouble.
They're sitting there with signs. They weren't saying a word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That they have the right to be there, and for him to have them arrested.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, of course, the cops couldn't press charges. They're in a public building that's accessible by the public. You can't bar the public from a building they own.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, the whole thing stunk, and they're saying that they couldn't get up and speak to Bill 9 because Mike Strange was there and he was under charges of blah blah blah, and they wouldn't let him speak, but they let Mike get up and speak.
Which is just hypocrisy at its best.
Yeah, and so like, and the ringleader was Jim Diodati.
Yeah,
because he should have told Mike to sit down and shut up, and he should have told them to, as long as you're quiet and you're not causing trouble,
you can stay.
You can sit there with your sign.
Yeah, do whatever you like. Just don't make a disturbance.
Yeah, you causing trouble. Then we all got trouble.
That's right. Yeah.
But no, it didn't work out that way. Heavy-handed, and I think they should look at that meeting and see exactly how to conduct themselves. No grandstanding, no nonsense, straight to business. They have to remember these meetings are business meetings. This isn't a tea social.
It's not. No.
It's a business meeting. We're talking, with Niagara
billions
Falls,
of dollars,
$150, $200 million.
Yep.
And with the region, $1.5 billion.
$1.5 billion.
This isn't joke time.
Yep.
It's serious business.
Which has major impacts on all of us.
All of us. Yeah, 450,000 people with the region.
Yep.
And with the city, 100,000.
That's right.
I mean, that's why I keep harping on it, and people think I'm a nut maybe, but I consider it a business meeting. I'm not there to play footsie with everybody and pat everybody on the back. No, I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to do what I got elected to do.
Well, we're paying people to be there.
Exactly.
We're paying you to be there. So act professionally and let's move on. Let's do what's best. Like, you got voted in there because of the taxpayer. Do what's best for the taxpayer. Do what's best for your residents.
So what's your overall opinion of this budget?
Well, I don't like it. I still think it's too high. As a member of the Property Taxpayers Alliance, it's way beyond inflation, even at 6.81%. I understand why it's that way. I'm disappointed that there's no talk of operating our government services differently under outside of a two-tiered system. And I think that would resolve a lot of these issues here, but they refuse to identify it, refuse to acknowledge it, and it's business as usual. It's just basically keep taxing the taxpayer, keep taxing the taxpayer, nothing we can do. It's out of our control. There's more in control here than you think. And until we get and they're not prepared to do it. I mean, they can say they want change all they want. They have the capacity and the power to change it, like they did with transit. They all voted in favor of moving transit amalgamation. They can do the same thing with our governance, but they choose not to. So it's going to mean it's up to Minister Flack, and hopefully he comes down next week and not only makes an announcement regarding our new regional chair, but he announces the intention to make some changes to our governance structure here in Niagara.
I think I was more disappointed that a few months ago they voted to cap everything at 3.5%.
Right. Yes.
That's what they voted for. And then they come back to us with 6.81%. Well, that vote was shallow. It meant nothing.
It meant nothing.
It meant nothing. If you can't, Like, why even bother voting for that and then coming back at almost double it?
Well, over double. It was 11. When did the police come back at?
Yeah, 11.5.
Yeah, it's three times the amount.
11% maybe. 11.5 if they get
crazy.
the 2.7 million.
Wasn't even an attempt to get to 3 points. So here's what we need. Just give it to us.
And I just don't get why everybody put their hand up and said, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And then 3 or 4 months later, or whatever it was.
Don't forget, wastewater went over. You look at transit went over. So where's the 3.5%? It was nowhere. They should have just said, here's your envelope of money with an extra 3.5. Tell us how you're going to spend it.
Yeah.
Tell us how you're going to allocate it.
Yeah, let's move on. Like we're capping everything at 3.5, and they're going like this. Yeah, just, wink, 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 wink. That's what disappointed me. I was really looking forward to them to coming in and keeping their word at 3.5. I should have known better.
Yeah.
I should have known better with a girl like you. But like I just you just feel like a sucker. I actually bought into this.
Yeah, thought this was going to work.
Yeah, I thought it was going to work. Bob Gale and everything, right? And at the end of the day, I'm looking going.
Who knows? Who knows what happens next week, right?
They got us.
The province has been coming down. They've been saying we're going to make the announcement. We're going to make the announcement. It's been over a month now. Any day now they're going to make this announcement. And if Bob Beale gets in, it'll be really interesting to see if there's a dynamic change or a change with regional council and the direction that council's going in, and the relationship with the province as well. Will it improve?
Yeah,
right?
it could.
You've got a conservative. You got a conservative going into regional chair seat. Versus prior, we had a liberal, right?
He did run for MPP under Ford.
That's right. Correct.
So now this is the final thing we're going to talk about in the show. This is called Plug Your Organization Time. So this is a chance for Al to tell you about Property Taxpayer Alliance, the Facebook page, and the website, and exactly what they do and why you should join. Join on Facebook, go to their website, sign up for their newsletter if they have one. I don't know. I joined up. I can't remember. But go ahead, Al, because I think this is the best thing that everybody in this city could join.
Yeah, so I'm the Niagara representative for the Property Taxpayers Alliance. You can find out more about the Property Taxpayers Alliance at www.taxpayer.ca. And we're a community-based organization from across the province. And our mission is to promote sustainable property tax increases and sustainable property taxes. And, Niagara has its own pile of issues with regards to sustainability and reasonable property tax increases. And what's not working here in Niagara may be something different in another part of the municipality or another part of the province, sorry. And so I would strongly encourage, what we're hoping to do is get enough people together so that we can lobby the provincial government to put in some guardrails for politicians locally, so they can only increase property taxes by a reasonable amount. I would say by inflation, no more than inflation. You got to work within your means, and so we're kind of want to encourage the provincial government, maybe take a look at what they're doing in Calgary, and the Ministry of Municipal Housing Affairs in in Alberta is looking at doing that very thing and looking at remuneration of some of their higher executives, that capping remuneration to kind of keep property taxes in control, looking at parenting guardrails so that we can't increase property taxes at this unlimited rate. And the more people we can get together, the more power we'll have and the more influence we'll have at the provincial level. So I encourage as many people as possible. There's lots of valuable information on there. There's toolkits that are on there that help people. If you're interested in saying something or moving forward with a motion to your government, there's toolkits that are available. There's write-ups about some of the work that's being done by the Property Taxpayers Alliance. So go on, sign up, get our newsletter every month, and be part of the solution.
Yeah, and I go there all the time because there's a blog by Al and about this area and that, because he is the rep for this area. So it works out perfect. And if you want to be informed, if you want to have knowledge is power, then this is a great place to be, and you're going to get all kinds of information if you're interested. And if you're not interested and you want to catch up, it's a great place to catch up too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have my email address is on there. I encourage anybody to send out an email if you have any questions about the organization or any questions or concerns regarding the regional budget or even the city budget. Feel free to reach out and give me a call. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and Al will be back. He's going to be a regular on the show because there's lots to talk about, and it involves your money.
Yes.
How they spend your money, and when we see something we don't like, or if there's something to talk about, we'll be here. Of course, I do that every day on Your City, Your Voice. So I'm always I'm on them. So, tune in. Tune in every day. I mean, there's always something going on. You know that. I don't miss too much. I try to stay right up on top of it. Anyway, that's it for today. We want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Yep.
Don't forget to go to the Facebook page. Don't forget to go to the website, Property Taxpayer Alliance. Of course, tune in every day at noon. I'll be back on Monday, with Manic Monday, and I guarantee you I'll have something to talk about.
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
do. I always get through it on 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Thank you so much, Al, for being here.
Appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure to have somebody with that kind of knowledge in the studio. Like I say, I'm not the best at regional council. It's great to have somebody who is, and we have a few other people who are pretty good at it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there.
Yes.
It's going to be chilly, but it's supposed to be nice. So enjoy it. God bless you all. We'll talk to you. See you Monday. Promises made, promises kept. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, everybody.